Dallas native Richard Miles and his work with folks coming out of prison is now part of the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis.
Miles was sentenced to 60 years in prison for a horrible violent crime he did not commit. Exonerated more than 15 years later, since then his life work has been to help others coming out of the justice system re-enter society. Fox 4's Sean Rabb is in the newsroom with more on this great honor. Sean.
Yeah, great honor and great story. He was selected by a committee after a national search to be included in the expansion of the National Civil Rights Museum, which is also expanding not just physically, but what it sees as civil rights. It's all housed in the Lorraine Motel where Martin Luther King Jr. lost his life in the fight for civil rights.
I'm just honored, but also asking, what is that calling? What is it now next to do? So I am totally honored. Yes, sir.
It's what Richard Miles has already done and overcome that has him and his Miles of Freedom nonprofit enshrined in the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee.
His work with formerly incarcerated people and his own personal story just made it one that we couldn't pass up and thought it would be great to fit in with the new legacy building.
The legacy experience at the museum is a $55 million expansion that traces forward the civil rights movement from Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination April 4th, 1968.
It was emotional, to say the very least.
Erica Harper, the museum's director of collections and exhibitions, tells me after researching and learning about Richard Miles, when she met him, she felt some kind of way.
I knew the tears would come, but it was just so incredible to be able to take in the space with Mr. Miles and also just to stand back and watch him take it all in, because he has certainly been on a journey of his own.
Miles's journey began at age 16 when he was tried as an adult and sentenced to 60 years in prison for a murder and attempted murder he did not commit. It would be nearly 19 years later before he was exonerated. That's when he started Miles of Freedom, to help men and women getting out of prison stay out of prison. While Dr. King did not see the mass incarceration of today, he did see a system that seemed unfair, scales of justice that were not balanced, and the deep societal roots of crime.
Mass incarceration, while it wasn't a particular topic that he spoke about often, it involved Blacks. It involved our transition. And so the work of Miles of Freedom was highlighted some type of way.
A work that would not be preserved in the Civil Rights Museum, a work that likely might not have even happened had Richard Miles not been wrongfully accused, convicted, and eventually exonerated. Would you have been where you are today without what you went through?
That's a great question, and I'm often asked that question. I believe that my life, Richard Miles would have always been a successful person, but I don't think my life would have been as impactful.
And Richard Miles has impacted many. Nearly 4,000 people coming out of prison have gone through Miles of Freedom reentry program. And estimates are that he saved taxpayers over $315 million in re-incarceration costs. You know what? He's impacted me as well. I mean, I covered Richard Miles and almost every exonerated man in Dallas County, from arrest through trial, conviction, and years later, freedom with an apology from the state of Texas. Every honor they and Richard Miles receive, deserving.
Yeah, Sean, it's amazing the number of people he has touched, and now being part of the museum. I mean, this is just going to go on for generations. It's incredible.
It is. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you for continuing to share.